Have you ever noticed how time seems to speed up the older you get? When we're young, life feels expansive. A single year can feel enormous. New schools, new friends, first jobs, first loves. Everything is unfamiliar. And because it's unfamiliar, we pay attention. Attention stretches time. Then something strange happens. We grow older, settle into routines, and life begins to move faster. Days become weeks. Weeks become years. We run into someone we haven't seen in a decade, and it feels like we just spoke yesterday. This isn't nostalgia. It's something deeper, something a bit tragic. When life becomes routine, the mind stops paying attention. And when the mind stops paying attention, time collapses. Hey there, it's me, Core, and you're listening to Exercising Self-Control from Fitness to Flourishing. Think about the early years of your life. Everything was new. You were learning how the world worked, how people worked, how you worked. You were exploring constantly. Because of that exploration, your brain was recording everything in detail. Those years feel long because they were filled with novelty and engagement. Contrast that with adulthood. Many people wake up at the same time, drive the same route to work, do the same tasks, eat the same meals, watch the same shows, and repeat the same conversations year after year. The brain adapts quickly. When something becomes familiar, it stops spending energy recording it. Life moves to autopilot. This is why 10 years of routine can feel shorter than a single adventurous year in youth. You didn't stop living. You just stopped noticing. Seneca, the ancient Stoic, once observed that some people live long lives, while others merely exist for a long time. At first, that sounds poetic, maybe even dramatic. But look around and you'll see what he meant. There are people who seem vibrant no matter their age. They're engaged with life, curious, exploring, becoming something new. And there are people who quietly drift through the decades repeating yesterday over and over again. Both groups accumulate the same number of birthdays. Only one group accumulates life. This is where the 84 comes in. This is the foundational practice of Stoic strength training and my coaching. The idea is simple. 84 days, 12 weeks. A deliberate period of living on purpose. Not drifting, not coasting, not repeating yesterday. Living intentionally. The 84 begins with a clarifying look at your life. Where are you physically, socially, and financially? How satisfied are you in each of those domains? What would a 10 out of 10 life include for you? Most people never pause long enough to ask these questions. They stay busy. But busy is not the same as alive. Once you've clarified what matters, you choose 3 meaningful goals, one in each of those broad domains of life. Then comes the most important part. You decide who you must become to achieve them. Goals are useful, but goals are not the real transformation. The real transformation happens when you start asking a different question each day. What would the person capable of achieving this goal do right now? That person is what I call your preferred self. During the 84, you commit to living as that person. Not perfectly. No one does anything perfectly. But deliberately. You wake up with purpose. You pay attention to your actions. You notice the details of your day. You make choices aligned with the person you intend to become. Suddenly, life stops feeling automatic. You are awake again. Something remarkable happens when you live this way. Life feels longer, not because the clock changes. The clock keeps ticking just the same, but because attention returns. When you pursue meaningful goals, you create novelty. You encounter challenges. You learn new things. You stretch yourself. Your brain begins engaging consciously in the details of life again, instead of glossing over those same details. Days become memorable. Weeks feel full. 12 weeks can feel like an entire year of living. Another pleasant side effect: you become more interesting. Not in the superficial sense of trying to impress people, but in the deeper sense of becoming someone who is actually living. You have stories again. You're growing, learning, becoming. And people respond to that energy. Relationships deepen because you're showing up to life instead of drifting through it. When facing difficult choices during the 84, you can use a simple question. What will make the better story? All things being equal, the better story is the better option. This option is rarely easy or comfortable, but it's almost always the option that leads to growth, engagement, and meaning. And those are the experiences that stretch time. We cannot control how many years we have, but we can influence how much life we pack into those years. Routine compresses life. Novelty, especially novelty driven by a personally chosen purpose, expands it. 84 days of intentional living can wake you up in a way that routine never will. It reminds you that life is happening right now. And what happens when you're paying attention? When you're moving toward a meaningful aim? When you're becoming someone new? You don't just live longer. You live more years during your life. And that's it for today. Catch you next time.